Gamers, what if I told you that at one point, League of Legends used to have content? No, I'm not talking about Magikarp Used Fly or Yako CMN. What I'm talking about is in-game content that, believe it or not, was not a visual novel. Yes, at one point, there was a dedicated team at Riot Games that did everything in their power to give the players like us a new and fresh experience that wasn't just another reskin of Summoner's Rift. And shockingly enough, there was over 18 game modes created. A lot of them with their own maps, a lot of them with their own metas, and some of them just straight up bad. So whether you're an old player that wants to reminisce about a time that League used to release content for casuals, or if you're a new player that always wondered what the heck old players were talking about when they say that you missed out, today we are going to do the official League of Legends rotating game modes tier list. This is actually the most exciting tier list I think I've ever done because I loved the rotating game modes so much. So I'm excited to lead you down this path, but before I do, I need to remind you. Did you know that the majority of the people watching this content aren't subscribed? And even if you are subscribed, please ring the bell thingy as well, because as it stands, I think only about 15% of us have rang the bell, and you don't want to miss bangers like this one. So please do it. It helps the channel out. Now let's jump into the tier list. Damn, shoddy, I'm good. The 5 ratings on this tier list are: permanent. We want the game mode to be permanent. Please never remove it. Amazing every few months. A game mode that is possibly very, very fun to play, but we know we'll burn out on it if it was permanent, so it's amazing to add it every 3 or 4 months or so. Enjoyable sometimes. Game modes that have the capacity to be fun, but also have the capacity to be very not fun. Not fun, boring, that one's obvious. Game modes that just weren't fun or were very boring, period. And absolute trash, never again. That's the absolute trash, never again one. Every single time I mention a game mode, we're going to go and look at it on YouTube so that you guys can actually see what I'm talking about as I talk about it. And I'm glad we're starting with Ascension, because Ascension was an absolute banger. Oh, they had a gameplay trailer for Ascension. There was a giant Xerath in the middle of the map. Watch, you'll see him. Boom. It was a giant Xerath in the middle of the map. He was basically a Baron, and he was a super empowered Xerath, and he was obviously a NPC. He was not controlled by either team. He was a neutral camp, and basically you had to get as much points as you can by running around the map and collecting these points. You'll see them collect them right here. So you spawn in, everyone starts in their fountain, and then you teleport into the map. You spawn in, and you have to go to these spires. And on these spires, you have to collect the spires to get points for your team. So look, right here, they're collecting the spires. Boom. And if you hit somebody while they're trying to collect it, because it takes like 3 or 4 seconds to collect it, you interrupt them. Basically, it would be pure team fights. Some people would try to divulge from the team and go to another spire and try to sneak other spires while 4 people roamed at one spire, or they would do 3 too. I think there were 5 spires total, and it was just all strategy and team fighting. Literally like the most fun thing ever. Motherfucker, watch, look at this Xin Zhao. Boom. You become a giant overpowered motherfucker. But the thing is, you like dealt more damage, you were a lot stronger. I think you got more health or something like that. You got a bunch of buffs. But on top of getting a bunch of buffs, you couldn't heal. So basically, there was a lot of metas about this game mode. The best thing, obviously, was like you never had to worry about like CSing or anything. You just randomly level up as the game goes on. And it was just great because how the game mode worked was like death timers weren't that long. All you would do, I think death timers were like 10 seconds or something. Again, I could be misremembering. This was 2014, so 8 years ago. But all you had to do was team fight. It's such a great game mode, but leaving it up nonstop would let the meta get defined. And once the meta gets defined, the game mode would get boring and all that stuff. So it would be very, very, very good, but not a permanent game mode. Okay, next up, holy shit! Black Market Brawlers, baby! It was a game mode, right? This is so crazy. Where they added a bunch of new items that never existed in League of Legends. A lot of items ended up becoming real items, one of them being Dead Man's Plate. Some items became passives. One of the items was just Nico's passive. So imagine if you see a Soraka walking at you and you attack her to one-shot her and boom, she's fucking Renekton. That stuff, like, you could make a lot of plays with it. There was a bunch of items that they added. I don't remember how much, but they were all such fun and unique items that were insane. But on top of that, another very, very cool thing that they added was you get a different kind of currency every time you do any of these things. And the different kind of currency you could use to change your minions. So instead of you, look, instead of you, let me see if you can see the minions. Boom. Instead of you only having casters and cannons and like melees, you could literally upgrade your minions to become stronger. And your minions can be like, they're just way tankier. They attack way harder. They're like, they get into fury mode. Look at this. Boom. I think that was an aquapod, or that, yeah, those are aquapods, I think. It actually changed the game. Like, it actually did. Early Belveth, yeah, honestly. Look at this! They just murdered the tower. Let's see if the Razorfins murder an enemy champion. Let's see. Oh, look at the Zen! Oh! Even though the game mode is really, really well made, I do want to say that it shouldn't be a permanent game mode, because once people figure out the exact synergies that are like the strongest, the game mode would get boring really quickly. Let's see. Next one is going to be Hunt of the Blood Moon. So Hunt of the Blood Moon was a very, very interesting game mode, because literally all it was that you had to kill each other. You had to run around the map and kill each other. There was these little Blood Moon Wraith Spirits, which we just saw right there. And the Blood Moon Wraith Spirits would just float around and you'd have to kill them for points as well. And all you were trying to do was kill the Wraith Spirits and kill each other. I think once you had 3 stacks, if you killed again, then you got like mega points or something, or you got like empowered. But it was basically a team deathmatch. There was no like farming or anything. But what, oh, there you go. When you got 3 stacks, you went invisible. When you got 3 stacks, you turned invisible. And then when you were invisible, you would just be able to run around and one-shot somebody. I wouldn't necessarily be sad if they never brought it back, but it was sometimes you would lock in with your friends, maybe like a Friday night, you'd have a couple drinks and you'd play Blood Moon. And that's all it was. Here is where I know I'm going to lose a lot of you. And I know it. I know I'm going to lose a lot of you. And it's because this is a game mode that I myself wasn't the biggest fan of. However, I didn't get to play it that much. I think I only played it like 3 times. So I don't think that my guess is educated enough to make the call. So I'm going to go off of how every single person I know talks about this game mode. And it's Thresh's Dark Star Singularity. All it was you were in this floating version of a base, right? And all you had to do was there is a star in the middle here, and you just had to throw each other into it. If you flayed somebody towards the star, then they'd go flying into it and they would die. And then you had to throw these little guys into it too, these little heralds. That's all you would have to do. I would put this game mode up here on Amazing every few months. Now, this next one is going to be a little bit hard to rate. The next one is, it's definitely not Dominion. It's kind of mean what they did. What they did was they removed Dominion, which was a game mode that a lot of people liked to fuck around in or just play in between Summoner's Rift. They removed it and everyone was like, no, I like that mode. And when I say everyone, I mean like the 4% of players that played it. Apparently 4% of 70 million players is not enough for Riot, so they removed it because they didn't want to deal with it. And basically, long story short, they removed it, and then they re-released it as a rotating game mode called Definitely Not Dominion, and it was just Dominion. We're gonna go to Amazing every few months because it was Dominion, so we're gonna put it up there. But I will say, I don't think Dominion was better than any of these. Black Market Brawlers, I want to say, loses a lot of points because it's on Summoner's Rift, but they did so many things to change the experience that you just can't mess with it. When you think about it, I think I might put this up here because I forgot that we're not talking about the old game modes. So I will put Definitely Not Dominion on Please Make It Permanent. The next mode right here is Doom Bots of Doom. Oh, God. Oh, for those of you who don't know what it is, I'm about to show you guys some shit. Doom Bots of Doom was a League of Legends game mode where they made you go against bots but the bots were very, very, very fucking strong. So it was a 5v5, your 5 versus the bots 5. And the bots were insanely powerful. How powerful are you talking? Well, let's scroll through this officially streamed game by Riot. Okay, that's the humans on this side. And on the bottom, it's the bots. The bots also had random enchanted buffs, right? And oh, what is it? They got more AP, they got more AD, they did a little bit more damage. What were their enchanted buffs? One of them was that Garen, even though he wasn't in the game, if you walk into a bush, a Garen would spin at you and chase you down and then disappear. Look at Valzar, look at Valzar. It's so stupid. It's not his ult because back then that was just a different ability. She has a Pantheon shield. I think that they got more passives as the game went on. I don't remember, but I think that's what happened. Like as the game went on, they got more and more passives. You had to go against a giant Teemo that was running to your base. And if you got to your base, you lost. So look at this. You had to type level 100. And if you type level 100, they put it on the hardest level. So this is the level 100 one. Annie being a monster as she is, Morgana's binding, and W going everywhere on Earth. This was Doombots of Doom. Very fun PvE mode. Probably the worst PvE mode out of all of them, but very, very fun. So I'm going to still put it on amazing every few months. I think challenging the Doombots, I know it's asking for a lot, but if they could change the Doombots around, I think that it would be such a fun game mode every few months. Hexakill. Hexakill was literally just 6 people. That's it. But they released it once on Summoner's Rift, and they released it on Twisted Treeline. And the Twisted Treeline one was so fun because that map is originally made to only be for 3 people, and they essentially doubled how many people were supposed to be playing on that map. And I remember playing the shit out of that. And it was just very fun because it was just super chaotic. The entire time, you would just be swinging for the fucking fences. It was such a great time. So Hexakill was a very, very, very fun game mode. But again, every few months, I would not put Hexakill above any of these game modes except for maybe Doombots. And that's because Twisted Treeline Hexakill was very, 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 very fun. Next one is, oh, fucking disgusting. Holy shit. The worst thing that ever happened. Literally, they should chemically castrate whoever came up with this game mode. Nemesis Draft? The shittiest thing I've ever seen in my life. All you had, it was just the enemies, they choose your champion. Fucking dog shit. Nexus Blitz, I want to say, is the best thing to happen to League of Legends. Period. There was nothing wrong with it. The game mode was fun. The rotating shit they added always changed everything. There was no real way to structure yourself because you'd be like, I'm going to choose this one character that's super good. And then the game modes you get against for that one character aren't good. Oh my God, look at this. It was such a beautiful game mode. Doing like Battle Royale where it's like, you're going against people and there's a big circle coming and you got to get closer in the middle so you could do like Poppy plays and knock people out, or Gragas plays or Janna plays, right? Like such a freaking cool game mode. And they had all of it. They had everything. They had Battle Royale except one of you is super strong. They had Battle Royale except everyone has reduced vision like Nocturnal. And then you have to be in the comms like, I'm in the bush. Which fucking bush are you in, bro? They have their own items. They did a double jungle meta, which was super fun. Having a double jungler was super duper great. It was such a great game. Like this right here, this screenshot alone, it doesn't sound like a lot, but this screenshot alone, where you see the fucking minions in a circle chanting for you. Such a fantastic game mode. I genuinely mean it when I say Nexus Blitz was the best thing to happen to League of Legends for me as a casual player. But there's something that comes very close to it, which we'll save for last. Nobody look. Okay, next up, this is a game mode that a lot of people forgot about, and I don't know how to explain it, so we're just gonna watch it. Okay, so basically how this game mode worked, right? Let me show you guys the map real quick. Is there was only one side of the map. The red side would spawn in their fountain, which is behind this autoplay button. and they would run to one of these teleporters, which would either teleport them here, here, or here. And basically what they had to do was they were supposed to take the Nexus via spawning and just slowly pushing out and ending up winning. Okay, that's what they were supposed to do. Okay, but now look, they're just sitting there, they're defending, they're making money over time. So there were a lot of things that you could buy that would change things up. I think it was your summoner spells got changed based on what you bought. So this summoner spell that you see here is a flash zone. He put it down. He spent money. He spent some of the crystal shards, which was like the extra money in this game mode. He spent it in order to buy a spell, and this spell was a flash zone. So inside this zone, he could flash as many times as he wants to. See? Boom. Right? He could flash again. He could flash again. It was just a flash zone that he could use to run people down. And basically, as the defender, all you're supposed to do is to defend until they possibly win. And as an attacker, you were supposed to attack as fast as possible. There's things you could buy that make like a giant beam happen, and the beam kills everything within a lane. Even though that game mode was like deep, and Riot did put their whole Ryosi into it, I do feel like it was a little awkward to play. It was fun, but at the same time, it was like, it just felt strange half the time. So I'll put it above Blood Moon, as it was enjoyable sometimes. A lot of times it was very, very, very not enjoyable, but a lot of times it was very, very enjoyable as well. All right, here's where I'm gonna lose a lot of you, and I get it. All right, whatever, sue me. But I do not like this game mode. In fact, the lore of the game mode is even worse. Okay, everyone knows this game mode. I don't even know if I have to show you, but One for All fucking sucks. I hate One for All. That's all I'm gonna say. It fucking sucks. So next up, this game mode was fun, and I personally enjoyed it. And basically all it was ARAM, except you have to throw snowballs, and when you hit the enemy team with like 20 snowballs, your team spawns the Poro King. And the Poro King healed you, it dealt damage, and I think it shielded you too. It did a bunch of stuff. And also, the most important thing about the Poro King is, no matter where you were on the map, there was a button that you could press that would make you TP to it, basically. You would dash to it from no matter where. I'm not saying it was fantastic, but I definitely would like to see it again, if even for a weekend. However, it goes way on the bottom. Way on the bottom. Next game mode. The weirdest thing about this game mode is like, it's so weird. It's so weird because this game mode, it's the most like unique game mode, I think, like actually Project Overcharge. It's like the most unique game mode I think they actually released. And what it was they made an entire map for it, which is this. They made an entire map for the Overcharge game mode. And then there was just like a bunch of things. Like if you jump on this steam vent, you'll launch over to this steam vent. Jump on this steam vent, you'll launch over here. And you had to choose only ADCs. Only ADCs were allowed. We can go look at the list in a bit. And basically, all you have to do is fight each other and kill things to become overcharged. And once you became overcharged, there was stealth zones like right there in the steam. You can't see Corki. Once you killed these things and grabbed your stuff to become overcharged and collected batteries or whatever, then you became like a very strong version, I think, of yourself. If I recall correctly, I think you became a very strong version of yourself. Let's see if they get over. Yeah, there you go. Boom. So Corki becomes overcharged here. And now Corki is just a lot stronger. Vayne's a lot stronger. And it was an interesting game mode. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. But the one thing I will say about it is that it was beautiful. So I would probably say this is at the top of enjoyable sometimes, because it was a new map. I also don't understand why this next one isn't a permanent game mode, because whether or not you think it's fun, this next one should be a real thing. A 1v1 game mode or 2v2. You could either queue as 1 or you could queue as 2. You had to either, if you were 1v1ing, you had to kill them before they killed you, get 100 minions, or break the tower. When it comes to Snowdown Showdown, it's weird to say, because even though I wouldn't play it myself, I think it would be very good for the game for them to release a ranked Snowdown Showdown 1v1/2v2. Like, I think that'd be very good for the game. Ultimate Spellbook. I don't think I have to show you guys Ultimate Spellbook, right? I don't have to show you guys Ultimate Spellbook. All it is you get to choose somebody's ultimate, and that ultimate becomes your secondary skill. Enhanced gold gain as well, which is pretty cool. It is the most fun sometimes game mode ever. It's just like Earth. It's either fun or not at all. Dude, I have so many choice words to say about Earth. Earth is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most toxic game mode I've ever played in my life. And I always wondered why. Like, why is Earth mode so fucking toxic? And I kind of came up with a reason for it. And the reason is literally that Earth is where people who suck at the game go to feel like they're good at the game. Okay, I can't win in ranked ever, so I'm gonna play Zed. I'm gonna play Trinamir and Earth. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the strongest characters in Earth non-stop because I've lost every single ranked game that I've attempted today. So I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna shit on people as if I just stole their LP, when in reality, I got fucking nothing from it. You know what I mean? But still, even with all of that in mind, I 100% think that Earth is still amazing every few months. And what's going on right now is that we are burnt out. We're very burnt out on Earth. Next up, let's see a full gameplay video of the Star Guardian game mode. Star Guardian game mode, it was one of the most exciting things to ever happen in League of Legends. It was so exciting. While we're on the topic of not putting in any effort, you guys played Ultimate Spellbook recently, right? Check this out. What I was going to show you is the voice lines in the new Star Guardian event are just the voice lines from this. It was so cool to get a PvE event that had its own unique map. Like, so freaking cool. And you had to like come up with metas, and it was actually so difficult. Going against Skarners and Vel'Kozes and like having to dodge so much shit. It was actually so fun. And you got a icon for beating it on S+, which was so difficult. Now they had like a weird little escort mission where you had to stay in the circle. If you left it, you took damage over time. And the problem was that there was these fucking Skarners, and the Skarners would run in and they'd grab you and they would try to drag you out. It was actually so funny. I don't want to use like recency bias and be like, oh man, it should be around all the time. I would 100% love this to be around every few months though. Every few months, maybe change up the waves a little bit, add a new monster type here and there, or even instead of changing up the waves, just let a different roster of champions be selectable every single time. And now here is number one, man. Oh my God. The saddest part about this, for me, is that I didn't even get to play this mode. Basically, this was the Star Guardian event, but on fucking steroids. Every character had abilities that they could swap in and out. Like Malphite ulting multiple people and dragging them to the wall. Yasuo having big ass tornadoes. It was so cool. The upgrades were so sick. Oh, it was so sick, man. Look at this. It was so sick. Such a fantastic fucking game mode. And then you had to fight Odyssey Kane at the end. And he was evil and he was like super big and he'd have like big dashes and shit. So Odyssey, I'm gonna put it, I don't know which of the two I would choose as number one. I'll probably do Nexus Blitz as number one just because it's so random and funky, or Odyssey as number one because there was so much to do. But it's like, man, what a phenomenal and wonderful time a lot of these were. Yeah, these are both number one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you would have ranked it yourself, because I know a lot of these are kind of hot takes. Some people say that Darkstar Singularity is their favorite game mode of all time, and other people say that Nexus Blitz is better than Odyssey, or Odyssey wasn't good, or whatever. And I would really like to know your opinion, so let me know in the comment section below. On top of that, one thing I really wanted to ask in the comment section is, if you're a newer player, or if you just weren't playing at the time that these game modes came out, which game mode is the game mode that you wish you could have played? Out of all of them, which game mode is the one that you wish you could have spent a lot of time playing and actually being there for when it came out and experienced the hypeness through and through? That's the question I got for you in the comments. Please let me know. I'm going to be down there reading them. You already know that mine's is Odyssey, though. Anyways, that's all I want to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Adios.